Hi everyone, I'm Josh and welcome to Josh Wright Piano TV. Today's video is a bit out of the ordinary. This will be a studio tour, a behind the scenes look at all the gear, the instruments that I have in this studio, how I set everything up for things like these videos, Zoom lessons, how I would set things up for an audition or a competition. Everything can be set up fairly similarly between all of those situations. Little disclaimer, I know that this is a very sensitive topic because everyone is in a different financial situation. Please know that I have acquired all of this gear that you're about to see over the course of 10 years. So don't feel like you need to go out and buy a bunch of gear in order to be a successful musician. You actually just need an instrument and maybe a microphone and your webcam to get started. Also know that I invest a lot of money that I earn from teaching a lot of lessons and my course income back into my studio to be able to afford these types of things. I know it's a sensitive topic, so I just wanted to put that as a disclaimer. I don't want to make anyone feel bad by sharing what I have, and that's why actually I haven't recorded a video like this before, but enough of you have asked about what kind of instruments do you have? When did you buy them? What years are they? How do you set your microphones inside your piano? Where do you put your lights? Where do you put your cameras? How does that Atem mini work that you have? And I actually have a whole video, if you search Josh Wright Atem on YouTube, walking you through each piece of gear and how to set it up. Today I'm just going to do a walkthrough of everything that's already set up. Some of the cool things that you can do, like getting multiple camera angles at the same time for your students in your lessons. That's been a huge help, especially during COVID, where everything is so volatile with having to teach online. It's been a huge game changer to be able to have those multiple camera angles. How have I upgraded my microphones over the years to get the best sound possible that I can figure out? I've had an audio engineer that I've worked with for many years actually come over to my studio and tell me how to set up the microphones inside the piano, so we'll be going over that. I'll also be showing you what gear I would buy first. So spoiler alert, I wouldn't buy a really nice camera first. That's actually like the last piece of gear that I would buy. I would, get an instrument that you're comfortable on, and then I would go for the audio, and we'll get into all the steps of what I would do. And I'll show you a little bit about a few new pieces of gear that I've acquired recently as well, to show you how that's made my life a little bit easier. And I hope this answers your questions about any gear-related topics surrounding production behind piano playing, whether it's music videos or Zoom lessons or competition videos or audition videos if you're auditioning for college. I hope this is helpful. If any of you have any questions, my email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. I'm happy to help you out. I'm also going to leave a link in the description below. By the way, that link, just so you know, right here, kit.co/Josh Wright Piano, kit.co/Josh Wright Piano, and I've laid everything out in bins. So here's the audio bin, and it has all the different gear that I use for audio, all the lighting, all of the video that videography equipment that I use. This is the gear that I use for Skype lessons and a bunch of other helpful things. The piano benches that I use, and I actually have some discounts for my audience on these benches that are hydraulic that go up and down, which is wonderful for teaching little kids all the way up to adults because they can make quick bench adjustments. So without further ado, let's take a look at my studio. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Here we go. All right, here's a quick overview of the studio. So just got a little couch for our parents to sit and the students' siblings. And then we have our two pianos. I want to go through all of this in the order that I would recommend purchasing gear. Okay, so the first thing is obviously your instrument. Again, we've saved a long time for each of these instruments. So this first one is a Hamburg Steinway Model O from 1978. I believe it was a light wood before, but they refinished it before they sold it to us. And it has been just a dream instrument to be able to practice on for all these years. We bought that one in 2011. And this one is a New York Steinway D from 1985. Again, this is quite a rare opportunity. I understand that. I do have a contact if any of you would like premium used Steinways at much more affordable rates than they are new. So you can email me if you are interested in that. We were able to get this at literally a fraction of the cost of what a new Steinway would be. Once you have, well, really quick, a little discussion on the difference between a Hamburg and a Steinway, I find that the Hamburgs sound a bit more clear and bright, which can be which is a wonderful thing. The bass is not quite as big. Of course, this is a 5'11" piano. That's a 9-foot piano. So of course the bass on that's going to be bigger. But I've even played a lot of Hamburg Steinways that don't have the same bass, like Hamburg Steinway Ds that don't have the same bass as the New York Steinways. New York Steinways are a little bit of a wild beast compared to Hamburg Steinways. New York Steinways tend to have a lot of timbre and color to explore. So I love playing impressionist music and big romantic works on New York Steinways. And I love lighter things like Chopin, Mozart, Bach, on Hamburg Steinways. But I enjoy both pianos for different reasons. So again, these are old pianos, but these have been restored to really amazing condition, as you can see. And it's not that expensive to restore a piano to really good condition, just in case you're curious. Once you have your instruments, the next thing that I would focus on is sound. So as you can see, I have two microphones, one there and then one back here. It's a little dark back here, but these are on K and M, K ampersand M stands. And these particular microphones are quite expensive. These are things I saved for quite a while as well. These are AKG 414 mics, C414 XL2s if you're looking for the exact model. The reason I have them mic'd so close, I don't usually like that close of a miking, but this room is so small that I do like the mics to be really close to those holes in the piano plate, as you can see. And I like one to be down on the bass and one to be up in the treble. And I like to try to place them at least 3 feet apart. That helps with phasing. That is something that an audio engineer that I've worked very close with over the years, Mike Cottle, taught me. It just helps to not have any weird sound issues later on in the recording process if you're doing any type of recording. As you can see on this smaller piano, this is mic'd obviously closer because the piano is a lot smaller, but still giving some distance, going over the bass, going over the treble, and that really helps to create a nice three-dimensional sound. Additionally, I'm running both of these through a Zoom F6 interface. It can take up to 6 inputs. As you can see, I only have, let's see. Oh, I do have 5, I have 6 cables, but I only have 5 microphones. The microphone 2 and 3, and then 5 and 6 are used for the pianos inside the mics, as you can see. And then the microphone that I use for my voice is this beautiful Neumann TLM 103, which I absolutely love for voice. So it's about the same price, maybe a little bit more expensive than the AKGs, but that's what I use. So this is what I like for a Skype setup. So I have my voice mic here and then 2 mics in the piano. If you're just starting out, just use this little Yeti microphone. And that works probably 80% as well as these really expensive mics going into an expensive interface. But I use that for so many professional typesetting recordings that I do enjoy these higher quality mics a bit more than the Yeti, but you can get great results from the Yeti. And if you're using your Yeti just to record the piano, I would recommend putting it on a diagonal up into the piano, having the logo, the blue Yeti logo pointing down at the keys and selecting the stereo pattern, the far left pattern on the back of the Yeti for the best sound settings. Okay, the next thing that I would want to talk about is just getting a computer set up. And I'm going to talk about this Atem Mini Extreme in just a moment. That was a recent acquisition. Really amazing. But just getting a nice computer or a decent computer with a good microphone is all you need to get set up for Skype lessons or Zoom lessons. The next thing that I want to talk about, again, in the order of things that I would try to acquire if you were building out your studio, is lighting. After sound, light is the most important thing. You don't need really nice cameras if your lighting is good. So I use, for instance, I just use this little Zoom camera. I use a DSLR camera. I use iPhones for my cameras. I have a mixture of cameras that I use, but the lights are what makes the filming look really, really nice. So that was the first light that I bought, the big one. I bought a really inexpensive set, and then when I was ready to take the studio to a higher level so far as looks for my videos, because I do that for such a big part of my living is making videos for my online courses and YouTube channel. I went with this Aperture Light Dome Mark II. Sorry, this is the Aperture Light Storm Mark II, and this is the Light Dome. So that's what that does is that diffuses light so that when you're seeing things from my camera here on all my videos, it gives a really beautiful soft light to that picture. I have these little lights above the pianos to light up the keys. These are Zoom AL F7s, and you can turn those on and off, and they are fully adjustable with color temperature, which I really like, as well as brightness. Something that is not necessary, but I think makes the videos look a lot nicer is this little accent light. This is a Lightstorm Mini 20D, and then I put just an orange color gel. I've experimented with blue and purple and green, and orange seemed to fit my logo the best and also look the most professional for a piano studio. So as you can see, it gives a really nice glow to the background. Again, not totally necessary, but very nice. And you won't see all those cables and rods up in the shots when I'm filming. I zoom in so you really just see that, and actually a lot tighter of a shot. Okay, the next thing that I want to talk about is the cameras. This is a 5D Mark IV. This is a very expensive camera. They're less expensive than when I bought it. And this is a 24-105L lens from Canon. For an overhead shot, I just set this up yesterday. I was getting so sick of pulling my iPhone down and charging it and putting it back up into a case, as you may have seen. So I got this is called a Zoom Q2N 4K. And I just, in order to get that angle right, I have one ball joint and another ball joint. And then this is just always plugged in. So all I have to do, I never have to tear it down for online lessons. It is not as nice of a camera as an iPhone camera is, but it does the job just fine. I have a bunch of cables running under the piano, and then just a backpack for when I take things on my concert days. So as you can see, it's kind of a rat's nest under there. I've tried to tie off some of my cables to make it a little more nice. Oh, really quick, because I know I'll forget this. These are Hedrow Model benches, and I have a company that I work with that gives exclusive offers on these for my audience. So you can look those up in the kit link that I'll leave. These are really nice. These just go up and down so easily. My favorite bench by a long shot. Okay, now getting to the more fun stuff. This Atem Mini Extreme is a new one. You can get the Atem Mini for, as of the making of this video, for about $295. The Atem Mini Pro for around $500. That's what I used to have. Or the Atem Mini ISO for, I think, $800. And for $200 more, you can get the Atem Mini Extreme. I bought the ISO version, which was even a couple hundred more, but I use this so much for recording. If you're using this as a studio, in a studio setting where you're going to be recording a lot of your student recitals, I'd highly recommend this. And let me show you the cool things that you can do with this. So you're going to see me on here. But you can program. One of the reasons I got the Extreme is you have these macro buttons. I made an old video with a Stream Deck, this little external thing that allows you to build in macros with one touch, but macros are basically just customized camera angles with different settings and scenes. So for instance, if I just want to go to my side setting, I just press button number 1. Now I'm going to press button number 2. Okay. And it goes to my triple angle, so my student can see me from the side and also from the overhead. And that is the, again, Zoom Q2N 4K above me. I used an iPhone up until 2 days ago. And then another fun setting that you can use is a score setting. I built a macro to have my score from my iPad, and then I just hooked it up with this little cable. These are all HDMI ports, And then I just got a little HDMI to USB-C adapter to plug in my iPad. That's really nice because you can in real time mark in the score. So I remember I was teaching a student Brahms Paganini variations, and he was struggling with pedaling. It was really intricate pedaling, and he's even as advanced as he was, he's like, I'm not really sure what you're saying, Josh. Could you maybe write it down and send it to me? And in the lesson, I was able to zoom in to his score and show a pedal marking. This is not the Brahms Paganini variation. This is Debussy Reverie. But as you can see, you can zoom in and you can write in real time with your Apple Pencil, or I'm sure you could do it with Android tablets as well. And all of that is just routing into these ports right there. And you can have up to 8 ports with the Atem Mini Extreme ISO, or you can have up to 4 ports, which is actually plenty for most scenarios with the basic Atem Minis. Aside from that, just a quick look. I have a rat's nest of a charging station over there where I charge all my batteries and have everything plugged in. You can do live streaming from the Atem, which is kind of cool. So you can stream right to YouTube or Facebook. I like Mac products. They seem to do a lot better for online video conferencing for musicians. Macs are just a bit more artistic based. I know they can't do the business side of things as well as a PC from what I've heard, but that's just my personal preference. Another really cool thing, you see this little hard drive that plugs right into the back of the Atem, and then I can just come in here and press that record button. And the reason I bought the ISO version is it will not only record whatever is on my computer screen or going through the cameras, but it will also record every single camera individually and then line them all up in DaVinci Resolve if you're using that. I use Adobe Premiere Pro, but I have all the original files recorded at the exact same time, separated. So that is just such an amazing little piece of kit. I love that. So that is how I would go through your studio and acquire things. I would first get an instrument that you love, and if you have to save for many years, just continuously try to upgrade that. I started very humbly with a Yamaha Clavinova keyboard, and then my wife and I pooled our savings that we had saved for forever for this piano, and then we saved, I mean, we bought this piano 10 years after this piano, so we had to save for quite a while, and then we just gradually added the other pieces of gear over time. So just do what you can. I would, again, after the instrument, focus on sound. So focus on at least getting the Blue Yeti. That's such an easy mic. That just plugs right into the back of your computer. If you want to go high end, you can get the Zoom F6 right there. With a voice mic, you don't have to get this high end of stuff, but you can get separate microphones for your voice and then 2 inside the piano. By the way, with the piano mics, I pan one of them hard left and one of them hard right. You can experiment which one sounds better panned which direction, but that gives you a very 3-dimensional sound. I have the Hedra Model benches, which are very nice. I actually carry one of these around when I perform locally because I have very long arms, and so my arms hang down quite low. So I actually like a high bench. Most of the benches don't go high enough because my arms hang down quite a bit. So those benches are really worth it, in my opinion. They're pretty indestructible too. Really quick, just a note about the stands. These are, that one over there is called a C stand. It's all built in. That's by Kupo. And then this one over here is just simply a light stand with a boom arm and a few little attachments. Again, I have all this gear in that kit, but that's how I would go about acquiring gear in that order. I hope this has been helpful. If any of you have any questions, again, all of this gear is listed at kit.co/Josh Wright Piano, and I will have a link for that in the description below. All right, I hope you enjoyed that studio tour. Again, don't be overwhelmed with all the different pieces of gear that I have set up in here. Just start small. Start with your instrument and a Yeti microphone and a built-in webcam on your tablet or your computer for if you're wanting to do Zoom lessons, or if you're wanting to record an audition video, an iPhone, or it doesn't even have to be an iPhone. It could be an Android or whatever it might be. Those camera phones are actually, as long as you have a decent light, and you can get a decent light kit for like $50 on Amazon. Again, I have links for all of that. You can check it out. But it's very simple to get started, and then you can work out to something like I have. And there's gear that's a lot more expensive than what I have. But I have found that these microphones are used in a lot of really high-end recording studios, and that Zoom F6 does just as good of a job as an Apollo Twin Duo does, because I had an Apollo Twin Duo, and that's used by major studios around the world. So it's not that hard to get started. Just add one little piece of gear at a time. Start with good audio, please. Get a good microphone. Don't buy a nice camera first. And just enjoy this journey. Save for each little thing. We've had to save up for all these things. They didn't just come, immediately. We had to save for these pianos forever in order to afford these. So just go slow. And if any of you have any questions, my email is josh@joshwrightpiano.com. Also, if you're an expert in this field and you see anything and you're like, oh man, Josh could totally improve his setup by doing this or that, feel free to email me. Please don't tell me to overhaul my whole studio and be arrogant about how you do that. But I'd love to hear the tips. If you like a different mic placement, for instance, or if you have a piece of gear that you think would greatly enhance these videos, I'm always looking to improve these videos for everybody. I've invested a lot of money into this gear to hopefully make these videos the highest end production I possibly can for each of you. So I hope you're enjoying the video tutorials, and I will continue to make those for many years to come. I'll leave a few links in the description below along with the gear links. I will also leave a few links for my paid courses if you'd like to go even deeper with your piano studies than my YouTube channel offers. And I will also leave a link to a free webinar containing 10 of my favorite tips to help take your playing to a higher level. These are tips I use every single day in my playing and in my teaching. So I hope you enjoy all of that. Have a great week. Good luck in your practice sessions.